Hey everyone. So today the topic for me is one that I am super passionate about. And that topic is creating independent learners and thinkers. The reason that I'm so super passionate about that is, well, actually a couple of reasons. But one of the reasons is because I have a son with Down syndrome. And what I know to be true from a lifetime of experience is that when you can facilitate the power in another person to be able to think for themselves, to think critically, to think toward a solution as opposed to just sitting in the problem, when you can facilitate that kind of decision-making power on their own, you are literally creating success. And that success is just going to be natural. It's natural to all of us, that success mechanism that we have to always move forward. But here's what happens, and I know this to be true because I've also taught a lot of students, and I've also coached a lot of people in every different area of the life, is that we get into this mode of helping people. So in the name of help, we are literally stripping people of their own power to think and to achieve on their own. When I taught kindergarten, I taught them all to be personally responsible. They had their own bag that they had to take home, and it was theirs, and it was their responsibility. And if they didn't bring it back to school, I did not allow the parents to tell me that it was because the parent had forgotten. Nope. It's your 5-year-old's responsibility to remember that bag, to get an order, to get a system so that they can remember that bag every single morning and bring it back. And that is how I communicated with the parents. I actually had one parent who served detention with his son because the son forgot the backpack and the bag, and he felt responsible for that. So I said, nope, your son knew. We made that expectation extremely clear from the beginning that it was his responsibility. And if I allow you as a parent to say, oh, it's my fault, I didn't do that thing, then your kid has just learned that they do not have to be responsible for themselves. And what you're doing is stripping him of his own power to achieve that personal responsibility, which will bleed over into everything in their life. But on the flip side, when you train a child to be personally responsible for their outcomes, for their decisions, I am telling you, the power to achieve is remarkable. It is amazing when you see what these kids do. Let me give you a real example. So I also taught a classroom full of 6th through 8th graders. It was a communications class. And so what we decided to do as a class is take a trip. And so here's how I did it. I said, okay, there were about 10 kids in the class. I said, okay, here's how we're gonna do it. You guys, this is a business. This getting to this place is a business. So number one, you have to decide where do you wanna go, and then you have to decide how you're gonna get there, and you have to make a plan for that thing. We literally set it up like a business. The kids, 6th through 8th graders, mind you, not adults, 6th through 8th graders, they had a CEO, they had all the things, president, treasurer, secretary, all the things. They had a board. And each person on that board was fully responsible for their task. We had a travel agent inside there. Somebody, like I said, a treasurer, so somebody was responsible for the money intake. Somebody was a planner for events that they would have. They all had their own job. They all had individual pieces, but we came together and they met corporately as a group and worked through the process and the plan of getting to, they decided to go to Washington, D.C. My job was this. I literally sat back and said, okay, How are you gonna do that? What are you gonna do? What do you wanna do? Really? What's a good way to do that? Have you looked at this? How does that work? What do you think? Have you talked to your friend? How do they work together? Do you have enough money? You better go to the treasurer and find out. That's all I did. Questions, 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 questions. I empowered them. Oh, they got frustrated. Well, I don't know how to do this. Okay, but you can, so let's figure it out. Go there, work through it, figure it out. 6th through 8th graders, here's what they were able to accomplish. In 2 months' time, they raised $12,000 by doing fundraisers, by doing all the things. In 2 months' time, they raised $12,000. They planned the entire trip, and they are the ones, they called the airlines, they made all the reservations. We went to Washington, D.C. They got their chaperones. We went to Washington, D.C., spent, about a week there. They went on they had enough money to go on an extra dinner cruise. We went all around. That paid for everything. Food, hotel, everything that they did. I did not do anything, literally, except ask questions. 6th through 8th grade students, they knew from this experience, number one, that they could do it. Number two, that things are not always easy, but you still can do it. You just work through it, right? Number three, that they were super powerful to be able to do that. And number four, that there's not always going to be somebody to do it for them. But they got to make their own decisions. And as a result of that, they got to do the things they wanted to do on the trip. If they wanted to do an extra thing, they're like, oh, we need another $500. Awesome, get another $500. How are you gonna do it? And they worked it out and they figured it out. They worked for it. Everything. Let me tell you that those same students are now in the 21 to 24 age category. Do you know that over half of them actually have their own businesses right now to this day? Because I facilitated in them a belief system that came from their core and came from the place where they knew they could do it. Now, if I had said, oh yeah, let's go to Washington, D.C., I'll get all your parents to come in here and plan this party for you, and we'll do all the fundraisers, and I'll make sure that I take track of all the money for you because I don't trust you to work with the money. Or if I say all the things, if I make the reservations, if I do all the things, they would not have learned how to do anything. They would have just had a free ride. They wouldn't have valued that trip near as much. I mean, consider this. The power that they had to achieve lasted. It will last forever because they know, they recognize their own ability to achieve. My son recognizes his own ability to achieve because he doesn't get a free ride. If he wants something, he has to work it out and figure out how to make it happen. Does he have special needs? Mm-hmm. Do I care? No. Because I am providing him the opportunity to achieve because he can and because he's amazing and he can do awesome things. Every person can. Every person. So I'm bringing this story to you for a whole bunch of reasons. If you have kids, give them their own power. I promise you, it'll be a rocky road, but in the end, the results are amazing, right? If you have team members or employees or whatever, give them the power to make decisions. They'll make you money. If they start making bad decisions, well, I mean, they don't have to work for you. give them the power. Give them the power. It will save you so much work. Do you know how much work I had to do in that class? Not much. I just showed up and I'm like, oh, from my experience, I was able to direct them in the path that they should go by asking really good questions that made them think for themselves. Did I already know all the answers? Yeah, most of them I did. I knew how to work that system. I knew how to plan a trip. I knew how to make a reservation. But my job was to give them power. And really, I didn't give it to them. I just helped them find it because it was already there. Okay. Give your people power. Whoever your people are, give them the power. It will empower you as a leader. It will empower them as a future leader. It will make the entire situation beautiful. I promise. I am passionate about this because I have seen it happen 1,000,001 times. I also have seen the flip side. When people help people in the name of giving them everything or doing everything for them, the people do not know how to do anything, and therefore they are on a path of personal failure. So what do you want to facilitate? Personal failure or personal success? I'm going to go with the personal success every single time. And there's where the hard work is facilitating that journey for somebody else, because it's a process. They got to learn it. But the perfection comes in the growth. That's the thing. All right, guys, thanks.